What's good, everyone? This is Marcus Duffingers, D-A-F-I-N-G-A-Z, back with the Sampleist, and in this video we're going to review the 0G Mobeus Modular. Before we get into that, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this video, the Sampleist, and this page here on YouTube. And also, although the library was provided by the great team at 0G, they have not had a chance to review this video, and that will not affect our decision on the Mobeus Modular plugin. What is Mobeus Modular? It is the sequel to the Mobeus instrument. It is a cinematic synth phrase creator. It is created by Si Begg. It is a 3-channel sample player. Each channel has its array of effects, has envelope controls, pan controls, pitch controls, speed controls, LFOs, and other filters. You have the sounds categorized in categories such as abstract, drums, melodic, and pulses. You have 150 snapshots. You have 200 sample sources. You have over 3.6 gigabytes of WAV and Apple loop files. And at the time of this recording, it clocks in at $47.95, discounted from $59.95, and it does require the full version of Contact 6.7.1 or higher. So let's just get into this plugin itself. As you see here, this is the only page that the plugin has, so I really like that. It is nothing too crazy. You have a lot of controls in this page, but you don't have to flip through a bunch of pages to get to these controls. And the great thing about something like this is as long as you learn one of these channels, you know all three, and then you have some additional settings down here at the bottom. But let's start at the top. You have the ADSR control. Well, first you have the power for the plugin. You can choose between the different categories. As I mentioned here, you have your pulse here, you have your melodic, you have your drums, and then you have abstract. And you can choose between all these different presets and options there. And once you have something chosen, I'm going to turn these other ones off. This is the pulse filter tension 11. I'm going to play the C note here. Might be kind of low. We can also turn the volume up here. And we have ADSR control right at the top there. We can also randomize the setting that's chosen there. So if I click that, we now have drums topper. I can play pulse. And the real power is when you layer that with some of the other sounds, which we'll get to shortly. I'll pulse galactic. I'll turn that up here so you can hear it. Then we have ADSR. So I'm going to bring up the attack. And you hear it fade in. You have the decay. You have sustain and release. So when I let the key go, you hear the release fading out there. We have a little bit of attack, a little bit of that, no release. Then we have pan, so we can go left, and we can go right. Let's see, and I believe, let me find the button. If I hit Command, click here on the keyboard, or if it is, I guess Control on a PC, I'm not sure, but Command on the Mac will reset it to its default. So if I bring this up here and I Command click there, it'll reset those options to their default for that preset. Again, this is the sound. Let me change the sound one more time. Let's go with that. We now have pitch on and off. Turn it on. You hear the pitch changing according to what we have here. We have -3 octaves. And +3 octaves. We turn it off. So you have those different options. Then we have speed. So let's say we are now at, you can go up to 4 times as fast or up to 1/4 time. So let's go to half speed. So that's great if you want to have a certain type of effect with the different sounds you have. Let's get this back. Again, let me see if I can Command click here. And yes, that'll set that back to default. Then we have drive. So this would be some type of like saturation type thing. I'm going to crank this up. You should hear the amplitude get louder. But it's also distorted. Then we have reverb. This is the reverb send to the reverb settings that we have down here. And also one thing to mention, when you adjust these things, if you look down here in this sort of contextual field, when I move a knob, it tells you what it's doing. Layer 1 drive, layer 1 reverb send. This will be the low pass filter cutoff for layer 1. Low pass resonance filter. High pass filter, high pass resonance. Then we also have the LFO controls, and you can, if you click For this little green, you can almost miss that. One thing I might want to see that a little larger somehow, if that's possible. I don't know if that's possible. But the waveform selector here for the LFO, you can adjust that between these options here. You have your sawtooth and triangle and things like that. Then you have the rate for the LFO and the depth, and whether that is assigned to pan, or let's see if we can adjust where it's assigned to volume, pitch. You have the resonance filters, pan. I said volume, pitch. What else we have? And drive. So you can assign it to a lot of the parameters here. And you can adjust the rate at which the LFO is being affected and how the depth, all the way from, I guess, 0 to, I don't know the percentage of the depth here. I'm going to guess this is 100%. And this is 0. Let's see if we can get something that we can hear. And then it starts to sound like a video game. I have a lot of reverb going on. I can turn the reverb down here. And then you have the modulation depth down here for the low pass and high pass. And then again, command click to reset all those settings back to their default. And you have that same those same options for all three channels. So it's really a simple plugin. Let's bring all three in. This is what we have going on. So that was just one layer that we were affecting. And then at the bottom here, we have reverb size. So I can turn the reverb size all the way down. We can adjust the reverb. So let's say I only want 0.2 seconds. Almost like a slap back. We can have it all the way up to 9 seconds, which is a lot. Yep, that's a lot of reverb. And then we also, I'm going to bring this down to like 8.5 seconds. That's cool. Then we have pre-delay. You have damping, different effects here. These are all master settings for the reverb. Then you have your master limiter. I don't necessarily see numbers or any sort of indication of what level you're at here. So you just got to use your ears at this point. And then also for the master low pass and high pass filter. And if I control click here, we can learn MIDI automation, and I can assign those different parameters. Pretty much any parameter here, I can assign to a CC controller on my MIDI keyboard or your MIDI device. You can assign those parameters. So what I'm going to do now, that's basically it. That's the whole plugin. Out the gate, you have, it's not a lot going on. It is a lot going on, but it's all on one page, and it's a really powerful plugin that you have. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through some of the snapshots that we have in these different categories. We have abstract, beats, melodic, and pulses. I'm going to go through some of the snapshots and mute the microphone and just play through all of a couple of them from each category using this C. Let's do C2, and then you'll get sort of the middle C perspective there. So here we go. So that's just playing through a couple of the presets that are in the Mobeus Modular. What we're going to do now is we're going to jump over to a demo that I created featuring Mobeus Modular from 0G. Here we go. So that is a demo I created featuring Mobeus Modular. Not a lot going on here with Mobeus Modular because, like I showed in the walkthrough and in the overview, you already have a lot of layers going on. You have the 3 layers, and some of those layers are morphing and transitioning. There's a lot of movement already going on. So if you have too many of those plugins going on at the same time, if you have 2 or 3 Mobeus Modular things going on at the same time, it could be a little too busy in the track. And also in this track, I added some other synths and things. But let me play what is happening with Mobeus Modular at the beginning here. So I just took, I think, one of those presets, or I might have just hit the random button a couple times on each 3 layers until I had something that I liked for all 3 layers. And then, yeah, just kept that same groove going throughout the whole track. And in that case, I unmuted another layer and had that coming through. I do have it playing throughout the whole track. I do have some dropouts here. I skipped that part during the playthrough because it's basically the same. I'm actually working on a synthwave project for some sync placement opportunities, and this came right on time for that. And then at the end here, we have some more elements coming in. So you hear some of the tonality and the atmosphere and the environment of the track actually changing by playing different octaves or muting and unmuting some of the different layers within the plugin. But that is the walkthrough of what I created featuring Mobeus Modular. So final thoughts overall, this is a great plugin. Like I said, this really came at a great time for some projects that I'm working on. So if you're into that dark wave, synth wave, retro future, whatever they want to call it these days, and you need that sort of Tron element type sound synth effect thing, you definitely want to check out Mobeus Modular from 0G. Again, a simple plugin. You only have one page of settings here. Once you learn one channel, you pretty much know all the different channels, and then of course you have your master settings at the bottom for reverb and the filters and limiters, and then you have a bunch of those presets that I mentioned, those snapshots and things that you can go through. What I like to do is I like to just go through, choose a preset, and then let's say I choose this one, and then randomize the settings for the other for the different layers based off that one preset. I don't know if it really is based off the preset, but sometimes I start with the preset, and then if there's a layer that I like in that preset, I keep that one layer and then change the other two layers and change some of the settings. So you can be really powerful with this plugin. You can really dive in and create some unique synth waves type stuff. So shout out to Si Begg and shout out to 0G for providing this to us. Again, 200 sample sources over 3.6 gigabytes, does require the full version of Contact 6.7.1, and it is currently priced at $47.95, discounted from $59.95. And shout out to you for watching this video. Again, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the Sampleist here on YouTube for more great videos like this, and we will see you in the next video. All right, peace.